The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Chevy, the Florida Lottery, Best Parts, Best Prices, Bennett Auto Supply, Contender Boats, Performance Through Innovation, Navionics, We Start Where the Roads End, and Guy Harvey, artist, explorer, marine scientist, conservationist, and diver.
Listen, this Chevy Silverado is not happy. It's not happy because it's not doing anything, because it knows you have a to-do list with unchecked boxes, because it was built to constantly be on the prowl to get more done. Patience is not the Silverado's virtue. Doing is. The dependable, reliable Chevy Silverado.
Continuing the revolution. Faster, drier, even better built. Designed around Yamaha's latest technology outboards. Still built by the same craftsmen and anglers who launched the Bay Boat Revolution. Whether chasing world records, or time on the water with the family, or anything in between, there's a new Pathfinder model for you. Pathfinder, #1 for a reason, still.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game, featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey Scratch-Off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
It's 200 streamlined horsepower of Yamaha forward thinking. The all-new F200 inline 4-stroke. Whether you're an offshore angler, pontoon cruiser, bay boater, or walleye hunter, the responsive and fuel-efficient F200 combines amazing power and versatility in one incredibly compact and lightweight package. The all-new F200. Legendary Yamaha reliability and the freedom of forward thinking.
Make sure you check out our website at the Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report.com, where you can get daily reports from our 9 captains. Also, if you'd like to be featured on our show, upload your best photos to our Facebook page. And if you'd like to be part of our audience, you can register there as well. Okay, Rick, now we're off to the Panhandle where Captain Pat Deneen has been waiting for us. But Captain Pat, a couple of types of snapper don't even come your way, is that right?
Yeah, hey, Lauren, you're right. The muttons and the yellowtails are really not up this way. Although, having said that, there's a photo there of a young Aiden Elwell of Panama City. And they caught that snapper, yellowtail snapper, last fall, October, off of Panama City, 100 foot of water on a public reef. So there's no fences out there, so you never know where fish are going to show up. And that's a really nice yellowtail snapper that young man has.
All right,
but
Pat. Go ahead.
Rick, we got plenty of red snappers and mangrove snappers. Right now in Chattahoochee Bay, the mangrove snapper is doing very well. It's a bit early. Usually we get them good late summer, early fall. But for some reason, all the structure in the bay, the bridges, the cones, the deep water docks are holding plenty of mangrove snappers. The best way to catch them is with a small live bait or a shrimp. And most of the bay mangroves are running up to about 10 to 12 inches, so they're not the really big ones. If you want to find the nice ones, go Gulf side and fish on the hard bottom spots and the wrecks. And there's plenty of red snappers and big mangrove snappers. It's hard to target the black snappers because of all the red snappers. We've been chumming them up to the surface using chunk baits, taking cigar minnows and herrings, chunking them and just drifting them down to the wreck, bringing the fish right up to the top, and then trying to select between the reds and the blacks. And some days are better than others. Today we had a nice catch of 5 mangrove snappers up to about 8 pounds, and our four red snappers, just strictly by chunk baiting them and free lining chunk baits back to them.
All right, let's stay offshore. What do you got, Bub?
Rick, offshore, the wahoo bite's been really good on the southwest edge and further west, along that break towards the elbow. Trolling tremblers, jet heads, skirted ballahoos, 7 to 10 knots and 180 to 250 feet of water. You want to keep your baits below the surface. I like to use a trolling lead with 20 to 25 foot of drop behind the lead to the bait. Pay special attention to anything floating you might find. particularly like a log or a tree or something that's got some relief into the water column. The wahoos, there have been numerous, but not really a lot of big ones. A lot of 15 and 25 pounders, so it's more about a quantity, not quality. Further offshore, out towards the spur, the water is absolutely beautiful, nice and blue, and plenty of bait. We fished out there Saturday, and there's a photo there of Royce Danke with about a 40-pound class dolphin we caught. Open water at the spur, under some birds. So offshore fishing is doing really good right now.
All right, let's go inshore, Bub.
Inshore, Rick Tripletail. I spoke with Captain Sean Chalker over at Bar Hopper Charters in Apalachicola, and he tells me the tripletail fishing is off the chain right now in Apalachicola Bay. He said there's a lot of fish, unusually good number of fish. He said there are not a lot of big fish, although they did catch one up to 16 pounds on Saturday, but it's the quality or the quantity again, not so much the quality. He's been finding them on crab floats, nav markers, also floating debris within the bay, particularly on the incoming tides, on the slack tides. On the outgoing tides, he's been finding fish in the passes and also free swimming outside of the passes. He's using a live shrimp, a gulp, or a DOA shrimp under a cork. That's the baits of choice, and the bite is really good right now. If you want a piece of this, give Captain Sean a call. And then also the speckled trout fishing in the bays. It's mid-June right now, which is kind of late for us still to be talking about these big spawning speckled trout. But the bite is doing really well, and if you can find the bait, you're going to catch the trout. I've talked to Captain Troy Forbes of 38 Guide Service in Walton County, and he says it's all about the bait. Look for the pogies or the pilchards. If you can get a live well full of those guys, fish in 3 to 6 foot of grass, target the sand potholes during the mornings, or at midday, fish the roll downs where the sand flats roll down in the deeper part of the bay. He's fishing his baits under a cork with a split shot just above the bait to keep it kind of down off of the surface. And he says the problem right now is that they're catching plenty of trout up to 20 and plus inches, and you're only allowed to keep one 20-inch plus trout, 20-inch plus trout a person. So they've been letting a lot of fish go that are over the slot instead of under the slot.
All right, good job, Pat. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the blue water outrigger hotspots from the Panhandle region. Inshore, beat the heat, catch the speckled trout under the lights at night on live shrimp. And then offshore, red snappers still red hot on hard bottom and artificial reefs. Use live baits or chum them up, Lauren. And you know what, Lauren? More importantly, we got the Lotto Guy Harvey tickets in the house. There's going to be one for you.
Thank
and
you.
then 2 for me, because that's the kind of guy I am. I'm a double dipper there. But more importantly, guys, don't forget, even if you don't win, you got a second chance. You could go fishing with Guy Harvey, or, I mean, just fill out the stuff, and there's a whole bunch of prizes that you could potentially win.
Second chance promotions.
Second chance promotions, that's what it's about.
I think chum bag still applies to
Yeah.
this 2
Give
for
my
whatever
ticket
you're
back
doing
on the
over there.
dadgum Indian giveaway.
Forget it. Next stop, we're heading to the Northeast with Captain Russell Theron. Right now is just the beginning of the best months for snapper where you are. Can you tell us about it?
That's right, Lauren. Lauren talked with Brian McGowan at the Strike Zone Fishing in Jacksonville. He said the most popular of our themed species in our region are the mangrove snapper and the mutton snapper. The best months to target the snapper here are June, July, and the first couple of weeks of August. Now, because of their spawning habits on those full moons. Now, the snappers are structure-oriented, can be found on artificial reefs and wrecks in 90 to 150 foot of water. Now, charter boat captains recommend using at least a 50-pound monofilament as your main line and enough weight to get down and to hold the bottom. The snappers have very good eyesight, so they're also very leader shy. So you want to use at least 8, maybe 10 foot of 60 to or 80-pound test line as your shock leader. Some of the best hooks you can use on your rig would definitely be a 5/0 VMC circle hook. And Brian said he likes to use fresh squid or octopus for bait. Most of the snapper in our area running anywhere from 4 to 6 pounds. Now, offshore, our dolphin has been very consistent. There's been a lot of days that we've had some wind and the guys haven't been able to get out, but the consensus is the dolphin is definitely the species that you want to target if you can get a chance to run outside and run to the ledge. At least to 160 to 215 foot of water. What you want to look for, of course, are the tide lines, the grass lines, any kind of debris, and, of course, the flying fish. Slow troll the dolphin at 7 to 8 knots with a blue and white Islander lure, and you want to have that rigged with a ballyhoo. Some of the dolphin are running about 12 to 25 pounds.
All right, Russell, let's go inshore.
Inshore, I've got a great report. We're going to talk about redfish. I talked with Captain Dennis Goldstein with Hot Fun Charters out of St. Augustine. And he said, set the alarm for dark 30 because early morning redfish bite is hot. Now, the incoming tides this week, Captain Dennis has been casting topwater plugs in front of the shell bars at daylight in the ICW north of St. Augustine. That's the North River. Captain Dennis says there's been a lot of consistency in the bite during that early morning cool. Now, the things that he's doing is most of the redfish can't move. Most of the redfish move into the grass as the tide comes in and floods. But not true where these shell bars are. It keeps the redfish and the bait from moving in. Topwater plugs are a great effective way to catch redfish, and the redfish are trying to trap the bait along the shell bars as they feed. Captain Dennis' biggest success is coming from casting a small gold pattern Rapala skitterwalk. Typical size of redfish that he's catching on topwater plugs are running anywhere from 4 to 12 pounds. Now, I've got a great photo here of John Francis. Now, John has caught a monster 47-inch redfish at the top of the outgoing tide in the St. Johns River. He was using a live mullet. What a hog, Rick.
That is a hog. All right, what's your second species inshore, Russell?
Man, we're talking summer flounder. Now, the flounder have moved inshore during the spring and remain in our backwaters all summer long. Locate the flounder in 5 to 10 foot of water, and especially where the water is slows and you've got these eddies under maybe the docks or especially the creek mouths. Now, what you want to do is to catch flounder on that outgoing tide, but you might find that the flounder might be more aggressive when the tide turns and begins to flood. We like to use Carolina rigs with maybe a 3/8 egg sinker and about 15 inches of 20-pound test line with a number 2 Kale hook. Best baits to use for these flounder are mud minnows and fingerling mullet, and the typical size is 1 to 3 pounds. Now, I've got another photo and a great photo of Charlie Heritage with a monster giant 9-pound flounder that he caught with a mud minnow off of the Fort Clinch State Park Pier. Now, that's on the north end of Amelia Island.
Hey, Russell, I want to know when you're going to take me to catch a big redfish like that.
I'm looking forward to fishing with you, Lauren, so much. I got so much to tell you about Rick.
Can't wait for that.
All right, Russell, we're going to end it at that, and we're going to go ahead and look at the strike zone hotspots from the Northeast region. Inshore, get on the redfish bite at sunrise along the ICW. Use jigs tipped with shrimp or use those topwater plugs on the higher phases of the tide. And then offshore, catch a dolphin on the ledge. Look for the tide lines. Slow troll blue and white Islander lures rigged with ballyhoos. You know, I hear Russell talking, I started up, just slanging just like
yeah.
It just rubs off on you.
He kind of rubs off on you. Hey guys, when we return, we're going to have the Costa Conservation Minute, and we'll check in with Captain Jimbo in the Southeast. Stick around.
The Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report is brought to you by Rapala. Catch the latest at Rapala.com. Reactor, the best-built performance sports watch, period. StarTron, cures and prevents ethanol fuel problems. Strike Zone Fishing. Sufix, the world's most hardcore fishing line. And YAMAHA, reliability starts here.
At highway speeds, things can get pretty windy. That's why the Chevrolet Cruze Eco has active aero grille shutters that close at higher speeds to improve aerodynamics. With an EPA estimated 42 miles per gallon highway, the Chevrolet Cruze Eco offers the best highway fuel economy of any gas engine in America. Always thinking of ways to give you more, while using less. That's American ingenuity to find new roads.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game. featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey scratch-off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
You already know about the La Jolla Resort in Isla Mirada, so let's talk about the La Jolla experience. With an on-site boat ramp, the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic is just minutes away. And when you return from fishing, there's barbecue pits to cook your catch while your family enjoys the pool or one of our new remodeled rooms. This historic resort, the La Jolla, is family-owned and operated and has a friendly staff ready to make your La Jolla experience a really great one.
You know there's more to it than luck. There's fishing the right bait, the water temperature, the wind, the season, and then there's the boat. We'll put it simply, the boat matters. To own a Contender is to own the best sport fishing boat on the market, period. Contender offers the most comprehensive model range with bigger, faster, and more fuel-efficient boats than the competition. There's only one choice for serious anglers. Contender boats. Performance through innovation.
Conservation Minute is about buying a fishing license. Now guys, whether you're inshore, offshore, near shore, on the shore, saltwater, freshwater, you gotta have a fishing license. So what that means is the FWC has put together a couple great options for you. Now in our house, what we've done is for Ridge and Colin, we bought a lifetime license before they were 13 because it's a lot cheaper. But as you can tell, my partner and cameraman, Mike Zimmer, he actually has gone out and bought a 5-year license. And what that basically means, guys, is now you don't have to worry about doing it on a weekly or an annual basis. It's good for 5 years. Now know that if you're a lobsterman or you want to catch snook, that you gotta go ahead and add the snook stamps and the lobster stamps or any other special permits to the license, but you can do that while buying the license. Now the other thing that comes to mind is if you have questions, you can go to myfwc.com and they can certainly answer them. The lifetime license can't be purchased there, but understand that almost all the other opportunities can. Well, that's today's Costa Conservation Minute. It's about getting a new license. Man, I'm telling you, that snook, the line itself weighed as much as your jeans.
My jeans.
Because you have little
Some
tiny
hefty
jeans.
Yeah. Okay. Well, where can I get my lifetime membership? I can't get it at myfwc.com.
Yes, you can.
I thought you could.
Yes, you can.
Yes, we can, and plenty of other things.
I'll show you. I'll tweet you after the, and I'll show you how to do it.
At Captain Rick Murphy, you can find him right there. All right, guys. Last but never least is the Captain Harry's Fishing Supply Southeast region. That's where we find Captain Jimbo Thomas. Jimbo, there's a little trick to catching snapper in the Southeast. Let us in on your little tip, will you?
Well, I don't think it's much of a secret or no different than anywhere else. But we do have plenty of snappers here in the Southeast region. But the trick is knowing where to go and location. That's the key to successful snapper fishing. And we all have our favorite or so-called secret snapper holes. The most common snapper species that we find are mangrove, yellowtail, and mutton snappers. And at times they can all be found in the same areas. The inshore and offshore reefs, wrecks, and ledges are all great places to start looking for snapper. And mangroves can be found inshore around just about any kind of structure and along mangrove shorelines, hence the name mangrove snapper. Now, the full moons of May and June is prime time to target these snapper, and that is right now. So yellowtails and mangrove fishing, that's best done in the evenings. What you want to do is get anchored up over some good bottom in 30 to 90 feet of water and get the chum going. A mixture of ground chum and glass minnows, that should get their attention, and some current is preferred to keep that chum moving. The yellowtails will usually come close to the surface, while the mangroves and the muttons, they'll usually stay down a little bit deeper. We like to use cut squid, bonita, or ballyhoo, and you drift it back into chum slick on a 1/0 to 3/0 hook with a light leader, and that should get the yellowtails. And if the bait makes it through those yellowtails, there's a good shot at a mangrove or a mutton snapper. Another great way to get to those muttons in the mangroves a little deeper is to drift a 1/4 ounce or bigger jig head with a live pilchard back into the chum. Now, I don't do much yellowtail or mangrove fishing, but we do catch our fair share of mutton snappers. I like to anchor up or drift over reef and wreck structure in the 100 to 250-foot range and fish with a live pinfish or live pilchard. We use a long 50-pound monofilament leader, a 5/0 to 7/0 circle hook, and use enough lead to hold the bottom. On the anchor, we let our bait lay right on the bottom, real still, and then on the drift, we'll hit the bottom. We come up enough to clear the structure. Once we drift over that structure, we drop the bait back down close to the bottom. If there's a lot of current, the fish will oftentimes be way behind the wreck or the structure, so don't be afraid to make a long drift, fish way away from that structure. Lately, we've been putting a deep line down while we've been kite fishing. We've been catching an occasional mutton on a live pinfish or pilchard, and we've been fishing in the 120 to 180-foot range. Now, I got a picture here. This is a real nice mutton snapper called by Gio Munez. Caught him aboard my boat, the Thomas Flyer off Key Biscayne. Gio enlisted in the Marines. He's on his way to Paris Island for basic training next week, so we wish him some good luck there.
All right.
Now,
nice.
staying offshore.
Go ahead, Jimbo. Sorry.
You got it. There's been some big kingfish caught in the southeast region in the last week. Most of these kings are being caught on live bait fish under a kite or drifted in 100 to 180 feet of water. We've been fishing with herrings and pilchards, but goggle-eyed sardines and blue runners, they've been working equally as well. Whatever kind of good bait you get will work. I like to add a piece of an 18-inch piece of number 3 or number 5 wire leader to help prevent any cutoff. Use a 4/0 to 5/0 J hook, and the best bite has been in the mornings in the 100-foot range. But then as the day goes on, the bite tends to move out a little bit deeper, out to the 150 to the 180-foot range. And on the days when we can find some north current, the bite is definitely better. Unfortunately, in the last few days off Miami, we've had no current, and the water's been really green, I guess, with all this rain that we've been having. But we're still catching some nice kings. And here we got a picture. This is Thomas Flyer's biggest king of the week. This is a 37-pounder caught off Key Biscayne by Justin Tobin. So that was a nice fish there.
Nice fish, Jimbo. Let's go inshore, bud.
You got it inshore. The snook bite in the inlets is still going on. All the inlets are holding snook. These snook are schooling up to spawn. The inlets from Boca north to Palm Beach are the best. Pinfish, sand perch, herring, pilchard, pretty much any live bait fish along the bottom will get bites. The first hour of the outgoing tide has been the best, according to Captain Danny Barrow, and the time of the day hasn't much mattered if you're fishing in the inlets. There have also been snook around the bridges of the Intercoastal Waterway. In the evenings on the outgoing tide is when you want to fish those bridges. Fish live or artificial baits along the shadow line, and be sure to use circle hooks when you're using those live baits, since this is catch and release only.
Hurry on the trout, Jimbo.
You got it. There's been some decent sea trout in North Biscayne Bay, fishing the grass flats from Rickenbacker Causeway north to Holliver Inlet. Captain Tony Fowler's been catching sea trout throughout the day. He's been using a DOA shrimp under a Cajun Thunder. Gulp or Trigger X shrimp and small live pilchards under that Cajun Thunder will also work. On the high tide, the fish have been moving up on top of the grass flats, and as the tide falls, the potholes and edges of the flats have been the most productive. And the grass flats that are holding any bait or mudding mullet, that's where you want to look for those sea trout.
All right, thanks, Jimbo. We're going to go ahead and get to the Sports Grill hotspot from the Southeast region. New sponsor, man, we got wings coming. I can't wait. Inshore, fish the grass flats of North Biscayne Bay for a mixed bag of sea trout, mangrove snappers, bluefish, and jacks. And then offshore, fish live baits along the edge in 120 to 180 feet of water for a mixed bag of kingfish, blackfin, tunas, and sailfish.
I hope when those wings show up, they're not a new product.
We're gonna have
I don't think we'll have any left if they hang out with Dave.
Exactly. We're going to have a Sports Grill night
That's
here.
all right. When we return, we're going to tell you what's coming up next week. Stick with us.
For over 30 years, Guy Harvey has masterfully captured the wonder of marine wildlife in his artwork. Now he's sharing his inspiration with the Florida Lottery by creating 12 exclusive images for the Collector Series Guy Harvey Scratch-Off game, featuring a top prize of $50,000 and a second chance opportunity to fish with Guy Harvey himself. Celebrate the beauty and riches of Florida with Guy Harvey Scratch-Off games today. The Florida Lottery. Just imagine.
Want the power of a V8 with the highway fuel economy of a V6? Yes, sir. 40,000 more warranty miles than an F-150 work for you?
Sure does.
And you get 2 years of scheduled maintenance.
Nice. Copy that.
Sold.
Chevy Silverado. Right now, get 0% APR financing for 60 months, plus Chevy truck owners can trade up for an additional $2,500 total cash allowance, or Chevy truck owners can choose cash allowance and trade up to get a total value of $8,500.
Hi. I lost a big fish earlier today. Wasn't using Sufix. It was about this big.
Look, slow down there, cowboy, okay? A fish in the lost it van, huh? You want your fish. Sorry, honey, that fish is gone.
Always use the best line, Sufix 832.
It's got the punch of a heavyweight and the pounds of a lightweight. Welcome to the main event featuring the new Yamaha 4-stroke F70, tipping the scales at up to 142 pounds lighter than its 4-stroke competitors. That's a class-leading power-to-weight ratio, a haymaker of a whole shot, surprising mid-range punch, incredible fuel economy, and industry-leading innovation, performance, and reliability. The Yamaha 4-stroke F70. Reliability starts here.
If you like fishing or the history of fishing, then I have a must-see place for you. The IGFA Fishing Hall of Fame and Museum in Dania Beach. What makes the IGFA so cool is that they have theaters where you can learn about the journey of fishing, galleries where the kids can see antique reels or catch a big one. The Hall of Fame room has over 140 beautiful fish mounts, and maybe in the E.K. Harry Library, you may see a live alligator. For more family fun, go to igfa.org.
Next week, we have a very special Chevy Florida Insider Fishing Report. We will be at the IGFA Fishing Hall of Fame for our Take a Kid Fishing Show. Make sure you check us out next Thursday, June 20th. You can also catch repeats on Friday and Saturday. Just visit Sun Sports and your local listings for more details.
Now, we got a couple special guests. You know, Tropical Anglers is one of the fishing clubs in South Florida. This is Chaz Harrison, but Charlie, I actually built my first fly rod. He was my shop teacher when I was in 7th grade. And then Ray Franconi has been my dentist for over 25 years, 30 years. Yes. So, I mean, guys, thank you so much. But more importantly, one of our Tropical anglers is down. Al Pfluger Jr. has been in the hospital. Albert, we want to wish you the best of luck, speedy recovery, and quit giving your granddaughter and your daughter a bunch of, you know. All right? Hey, guys, thanks for coming. We appreciate it.